check that the video is working fine, and then we can get straight into it. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to tonight's little session. And as I mentioned before, and as nobody probably heard on all the other social media, today we will be talking about promotion for artists in 2021. What I mean by 2021 is basically COVID related, because the music industry and the way people perceive music and the way people perceive artists really changed over the past year. And I came to understand that there are quite a lot of new ways and new opportunities to promote. And at the same time, I realized that a lot of the old ways that people are used to don't really work anymore. And it's a very interesting paradox, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to talk about some general advice for your content and some general advice for platforms. We will go through the best platforms that are available to musicians at the moment, and I'm going to explain my personal experience with each one of those platforms, and I'm going to talk about why each of them is good and why each of them is bad. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the content that is suitable for musicians and the content that you should promote and the content that you should start making. Then we're going to talk a little bit about managing your stats and managing your goals and the analytics of whatever you do. So I'm just going to make a little announcement for everybody who's watching us outside of Telegram. And it's going to be a bilingual announcement, so bear with me for a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everybody who's watching me on VK. Добрый вечер, дамы и господа. Добрый вечер всем, кто смотрит меня сейчас ВКонтакте. This is an English live stream, and today we're going to be talking about promotion in music. Это английский стрим, и сегодня мы будем с вами говорить про продвижение в музыке. Поэтому, если вы понимаете английский, вы можете оставаться. If you understand English, you can stay. If you don't understand English, если вы не понимаете английский, then you can either stay or you can watch the video in the video. So not the live stream, you can watch the actual video. Если вы не понимаете, вы можете посмотреть потом запись, и тогда будут субтитры. And then we're going to have the subtitles. Okay. So I think that's it with the intro, and now we can get started. We currently have around 500 viewers. Yeah, 500 viewers we have. And yeah, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is what you guys should promote and who you should promote. It seems like a very straightforward topic. You should just promote yourself as a musician. But many people get that wrong. And you shouldn't really promote an artist, and you shouldn't promote a musician or a DJ. There should be a person. There should be a person standing behind that DJ. And it's very, very important to get that person right. Because the reality is that nobody really wants to look at a musician who doesn't represent anything besides his music. So people are very, very interested to learn more about yourself as a person. And they're going to be even more attracted and more related to you if you represent yourself not only as a musician, but more as a person. And that should be present in everything that you do. It should be present in your social media, the way you run it, the way you make new content, and it should also be present in the music you release. So really just think about what is it that you are promoting. You shouldn't be promoting an artist. It shouldn't be just bare bones artists. There should be a person standing behind the artist, the person with its own interests, with their own goals and with their own beliefs and views. And you should really try to convey those views to your fans. And back in the 90s, there was that corporate thing where people and companies really started to sort of incorporate into huge groups. And it wasn't really cool to be an individual. What people were used to do was to be a part of a big company and be part of a bigger group. Now in 2021, things are changing a little bit, and it is now becoming really, really nice. No matter what you do, it's not just music, it's literally whatever you do. It's people are getting really valued as individuals. So try to raise your own capital, try to raise your own level of experience, and try to promote your music as yourself. So I can show you a little example of what I mean by promoting music as yourself. So my real name is Elmar. and I currently have 6 musical projects going on. And it would have been a nightmare to manage all 6 of those projects if I had a separate account for all of them and if I managed them all as a separate entity. So what I did instead was I created my social media as Elmaris Magilov, so my real name, and I sort of started attracting people more to myself as a person. And people started following me just because of the things I do, and not that much because of my music. And yes, of course, they know that I make music, and that's the selling point of my whole career. So yeah, it's just try to sort of get that person behind the music conveyed to your fans. So that's the first big point that I wanted to make. Because just remember one thing: the biggest asset that a musician has is your music and you. Those are the 2 most important things. And while every musician manages to get their music right, a lot of people forget about the second asset, which is just as valuable as your music, and that's yourself. So make sure to just talk about yourself a little bit and convey the message and convey who you really are, not just as a musician. So that was a little introduction on what we're going to be talking about and who you really should promote and what you, the mindset that you need to think on when promoting yourself as an artist. And now I just want to talk a little bit about the platforms which I personally found most suitable for promotion in 2020 and 2021. I'm going to go through 5 platforms today, and I'm going to talk about my own experiences with each of those. So the first one, which I find the most valuable platform of 2021, is TikTok. And many people cannot agree with me, but believe me, that's the case. TikTok, videos on TikTok, they have a really, really great chance because of the way the algorithms work to go viral. And what I mean by that is that you can be a complete no-name, basically, and you can still make a video, and the video can go viral and get thousands and even millions of views. That happened to a lot of my friends, that happened to my own videos. And just the way TikTok works, the way algorithms on TikTok work, it really allows people to promote music. And it doesn't need much input. So I'm going to talk about one real case that happened with one of my recent releases. I had a song called Gigolo Romeo, which I started promoting on all platforms. And that was the first song which I tried promoting on TikTok. So what I did with it was basically ordered 2 videos on TikTok from bloggers with probably around 50,000 followers, something like that. But it wasn't really that big of a deal. And so what I did was I asked people to make a video and say that if you record a video with this sound, so you know how TikTok works, obviously. If you record a video with my sound, you'll get millions of views. That was basically the thing. That was the selling point. And I know that's probably not the best thing to do, and that's not the best thing to say because that wasn't the case, but it really made the song blow up. So those 2 videos, they resulted in over 3,000 videos on TikTok with my song right now. And all those songs overall, they got over 30 million views, I think. So really try to get some creative ideas in there and try to make some content regularly, and I'm sure that as long as you make some regular uploads to TikTok, you will be able to get something out of it. And if you're promoting your music, then just try ordering some ads and see how that goes, and usually goes really, really well on TikTok. So the second platform, which is just as important as TikTok, and it remains one of the top platforms for artists, is Instagram. However, the thing with Instagram is that it requires daily input, and you really need to get your content sorted. Because if you want to promote on Instagram and if you want to have some followers on Instagram, then you really need to put a lot of attention to your content. Now, what I mean by that is that you need to record daily stories with basically your daily routine. And people are interested in it, believe me. It might not seem like that, but a lot of people are interested to see how other people live. So yeah, Instagram is one of those platforms where you can really grow relatively easily compared to other platforms, but you really need to put a lot of attention to the content that you make, and it requires some daily input from you. Then the platform number 3 for music promotion, I would say that's YouTube, because YouTube is still that one place where algorithms really help some musicians to grow, and it's a place where you can still upload some quality content. Because, for example, if we're talking about TikTok and we're talking about Instagram, those are the platforms that don't value long, high quality videos anymore. What they're looking for is a short video. So on TikTok it's up to a minute, on Instagram it's up to a minute as well, but they don't really watch that minute either. So if you have some quality content, if you're doing some live streams, and if you're doing some reviews on music, or you're producing music live, then YouTube would be an amazing platform. If you're not doing that, then I highly recommend that you do, because you shouldn't really target one audience. You should try and target as many different audiences as possible, and each of those communities, each of those platforms that I'll be talking about, they have their own community, and it's an interesting one for each of those. And I think it's important to try and tackle all of those and see which one works out the best. So try to record some TikTok videos, even if you hate TikTok. I hated TikTok. I never did a single video on TikTok, but as soon as I released my song, I had to do something. And I should say it went pretty well, actually. And then Instagram is that one place where you should really try to combine and lead all your followers to, because that's going to be your personal blog. That's going to be the place where you're going to talk about your life. That's going to be the place where you talk about yourself. And yeah, that's why your most loyal followers should really try to stay on Instagram with you. Then YouTube is a place for some more advanced content, such as music videos, backstages, vlogs, or whatever you're recording. Then obviously, talking about music platforms, music sharing platforms, I saw that many people are using SoundCloud still. SoundCloud is really, really not great for music nowadays. So if you guys want to have some nice input, and if you guys want to have some nice feedback on your music, I would really suggest using Spotify, because that's the platform which helps the musicians to get some exposure. What I mean by that is that Spotify has some playlists which are user curated, and which are some curated by small companies, and it's relatively easy to make your way to one of those playlists. So Spotify is, I think, the number one platform to share your music on, if you want to get as many views as possible, if you want to get as many plays as possible, and if you want to convert those plays to some loyal fans. One thing with Spotify, though, is that you need to try and direct all your traffic to Spotify. So I mentioned BandLink when we just started the live stream. Now I want to talk about it in a bit more detail. So BandLink is a website which allows you to share links to all the platforms where your music is released. So the way you do it is you add your ISRC code, and it's going to generate all the links automatically, and then you just share your band link, and there you're going to have all the buttons to download your song on Spotify, on Apple Music, on iTunes, or whatever. Now, the good thing with BandLink is that it allows to easily access every platform, but that's not really the great thing that you should do in 2021, because, I mean, of course you can get plays on various platforms. Of course you can get plays on Apple Music, you can even get some plays on Deezer or Zvooq or some other platforms like that. But you don't want to. What you want to do instead is you want to direct all your traffic to one place, so that you have the algorithms working, and that you don't really spread your traffic out on different platforms, and you really focus them on one. And the one I recommend to focus on is Spotify. So it doesn't mean you don't have to release your song on other platforms. You can still release it, but whenever you're sharing links, I would really try to focus on Spotify. And sometimes I would even just put the Spotify link, so that people go directly to Spotify and they don't have a choice to listen on some other platforms. And in that case, the algorithms really kick in, and they get your song listed in some playlists, and they basically get you more listens. That's how Spotify works, and that's a great thing about it. Just the only thing, remember, you need to direct your traffic to Spotify if you want to get the most out of it. So, talking about the content that you need to make, the content should really be different for all of those platforms. Obviously, for Spotify, it's your music, and your music should really be something personal. It shouldn't just be a bland track with nothing. It should explain about yourself, and it should basically talk about you as a person, and you should try to convey some serious message through your music. That's a whole separate topic, the way that your music is made and the way that you communicate what's in your music. Just remember that Spotify is basically for your music. Yeah, that's obvious. So, if you're making some long, high-quality videos, then those obviously go on YouTube, because that's what's important and that's what people are looking for. If you're recording personal life, and you should be recording your personal life and your daily routine, so you waking up, you having breakfast, whatever it is, just people really enjoy that. Believe me. That goes on Instagram, obviously. Instagram stories or Instagram posts, that works really, really well. Now, short fun videos, those go to TikTok, and those can sometimes go to Instagram as well, because Instagram allows you up to 15 seconds in stories or up to a minute in posts. And obviously you can post some of those videos to Instagram as well. Then technical stuff and your demos, because some people are really interested to hear your demos. And that's one thing how you can raise exclusivity about your music, which is another big point, is to create a Telegram channel for your most loyal fans and basically redirect them to Telegram if they want to hear some of your music and they want to read more about your thoughts and your ideas and technical aspects. So we have a question coming from VK. Can anybody upload their own music on Spotify, or there are some rules? Everybody can upload their music to Spotify. It's not direct, so you don't go to Spotify and upload your music directly, but there are some companies which are called either aggregators or distributors, and those are the companies that allow you to get your music delivered to all the online platforms, including Spotify, obviously. So now to the fourth topic that I'm going to be talking about today, and that's the aesthetics of your content. And many people might not pay much attention to this, but I think, and I've come to understand, that this is a very, very important topic, and people completely ignore it. That they shouldn't, because your content should be attractive. Your content should be aesthetic. That's the only way to gain plays. That's the only way to gain new views. And that's the only way to get other people interested in you. So make sure that whatever you make, whatever you post, it looks nice and it looks presentable. It shouldn't just be a video of a screen recording of your audio workstation. No, just make it interesting. Make a little video of you. Make some creative videos of you playing something on the piano and then sort of embedding that into your DAW and then post that. Because people want to be interested in what you do. And people want to see that you're actually trying to put in some effort to produce a high quality content. So yeah, just be creative and try to relate your content to yourself or your music in some way. And make sure that it's interesting and it's pleasing for other people. Now, I want to say one thing, and many people might hate me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've seen so many Instagrams of different producers and so many different people, which are just straightforward boring. I come there, I see pictures of him with a fucking donkey somewhere in a village, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. And no, that's not the way it should be. I would really suggest trying to go out more and just make more content. And the best way to make more content, and the best way to make good content, and the best way to obviously make interesting content is to live an interesting life. That's it. Just try to make your life more interesting. There's no need to stay in the studio 24/7. You can go out, you can go travel somewhere, you can visit a lot of new places. And I heard people say so many times that they can't do anything interesting and there's nothing to do. No, there always is something to do. No matter where you are, no matter what your budget is. There's a lot of things that you can do for free, a lot of places to go for free. Just do something. Try and look for those opportunities. Because the only way to make interesting content and the only way to make interesting music is to get emotions and to live an interesting life yourself. So really try and do that as much as possible. No matter what it is. Even if you're going on a lake somewhere, just make some videos of the lake. Why not? Or if you're visiting someone, then just go and visit somebody and make a video of that. Try to live an interesting life, and then your content's going to be more interesting automatically. Alright, so now point number 5, which is probably one of the most important points of what I have today. be interactive. No matter what you do, no matter which platform we're talking about, you need to interact with your fans. There's just no way around with that. You need to be able to communicate with your fans, and you need to encourage your fans to respond and interact with you. No matter if you have 10 followers or if you have 10,000 followers, just encourage your audience to interact with your content, because that's really important. Nothing works as long as you don't have feedback. And the only way to get feedback is encourage people for feedback, is to reward people for feedback. So an option to get a bit more interactivity going on and to get a bit more feedback from your fans or your followers is to create some quizzes with some small prizes, or maybe give out some gifts, or basically just interact in one way or another. Instagram and a lot of other platforms, they provide so many great opportunities. They have polls, they have questionnaires, they have countdowns, and just so many different tools which allow you to interact with other people. So why not do that? Just ask your friends how your day was. And just see the replies and make sure to reply back. Because I see people post the Instagram questionnaire thing and then never come back to it. That's not good. Because here's how it works. When people find your social media, first of all, primarily, they will be interested and they will be watching your stuff and they will be trying to respond and interact with it somehow. And you should really keep that interest going. Because if a person responds to your story once and it never hears back from you, then the person responds again, they never hear back. They respond for the third time, and all they get back is a double tap on the message and that little Instagram heart. No, the person's gonna stop responding. They lost the interest. So make sure to keep the interest of other people as long as possible, in one way or another. If it's stories and somebody's replying to your story, don't just double tap it. No, please don't. Because you have a spare minute, and you do have a spare minute, obviously. Just type in some reply. Thanks, I appreciate it. Just where are you from and who are you? Just get to know your fans. Just get to know the people. And when we're talking about comments on either of those platforms, it's the same thing. Because at first, I don't think there are any huge artists here which get tens of thousands of comments on every upload they make. So try to interact with each one of the commenters on your posts. Even if it's a simple emoji, just try to say a simple message like, thanks, I appreciate it. Where are you from? Something like that. And then you're starting the conversation. You're really trying to get the person on your side, and you're trying to get the person interested in what you do. And that's really, really important, especially if you're starting out. And I'm pretty sure that for many people, 2021 is going to be the beginning year of their professional career or of their social career. Try to build the fan base of loyal people. Try to interact with your fans. You don't need to look down on them. You need to be with them, and they need to understand that they're able to interact with you. And you should be interacting with them, obviously. So, some ideas of how to interact with fans. Especially, it works really well before your releases. I usually make a little sort of a quiz where people try to guess the release date of a song. That way they get to know the cover of the song, they get to know the fact that I'm releasing something, and it really helps them to get more interested and encouraged with the content that I make. And it also helps me to build up some organic interest before my release. And the gift or the reward for that could be either just a little sticker pack. For example, on VK allows you to buy sticker packs and gift sticker packs to other people. That's a great little thing. It costs like 50 cents to buy a sticker pack, but you really get a lot of feedback from it. Same thing with Instagram and other platforms. Just have some little gift to your fans which are loyal to you, and make sure to gift them for this. It sounds a little bit like training a dog, really, but it's not that, but it's similar. Try to essentially train your fans to respond and reply to what you do. Right. So, getting to analyzing your statistics and getting to understanding what's happening with your music and basically doing some strategic planning for your releases. No matter what you do, no matter how many content you post daily, you are a musician. And your key points should be your releases. People ask me how many releases they should do in a year. In a year is too big of a time scale, I should say. I would suggest 2 releases per month. That's probably the optimal number of releases that somebody can have. You can have 1 release per month, you can have 1 release per 2 months, but that's probably the limit. So 1 release per 2 months, that's the bottom line. You shouldn't go below that. You should try and encourage yourself to release stuff at least once in 2 months. So let me talk you through how the statistics and the analytics work here and how you should approach your advertisements. So imagine that you're starting with a release. There you have your release, and if you were following the 20-day strategy, which I shared some time ago, if you weren't, then we can do another live stream on that. I'm going to talk you through that again. So imagine you've released your song and you shared it with your friends and you shared it with some of your fans if you have some basic fan base already, and you shared it on some channels, groups, and whatever. You already have some fan base at that point. You have people who are listening to you. You have people who are following you. That's important, and you should really hold on to those people. So imagine you have that rise in your followers and in the general interest in you. So after the release, that interest's gonna go down gradually. And if you don't post anything afterwards, if you just make a release and then you go silent for another 2 months, then obviously everything's gonna go down quickly. What you should do instead, you should try and keep all those people interested in what you do. That could be done by posting some interesting content, what I was talking about in the beginning. So as soon as you get some new followers, try to keep their interest as long as possible. Of course, some of them will go, but others will stay. And those that will stay will become your loyal fan base. So then you have the next release, and you attract some new people, but remember, you already have some old fans from the last release. So basically try to swing your audience. You make a release, you get a lot of exposure. Then the exposure goes down slightly, then you make another release and it goes higher. And just try to keep it at the highest point possible. And you can do that by regularly releasing interesting content. Post stories to your Instagram, record videos to YouTube, make covers of your own songs, just make an acoustic version of your song. That's fine, that works. And yeah, basically just try to keep people interested. That's very, very crucial. That's very, very important. So the basic strategy here is release, get some audience, maintain the audience, release, and get more audience. That's how it should work, and that's how it's going to climb. There's never going to be an instant climb for musicians. For musicians, the climb point is going to be the release. So you're going to get a high jump on your release, then it's going to go down slightly, then you need to jump higher on the next one. That's the general rule, and that's the strategy that works really, really well, and that's the strategy I was using for years, and it seems to be working really, really well. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about, I guess we're going to go under 45 minutes here, is setting your goals. So 2020 was a very difficult year, and 2021 is going to be pretty interesting and pretty difficult as well. And it's very important to keep yourself motivated, and it's very important to keep yourself interested in what you do. And the good way to keep yourself motivated is to create milestones for yourself. And the way that you approach your milestones should be a very clever and convenient and thoughtful way. Because I saw so many people say that they want to become famous. That's a shitty goal. That's not a goal, no. Because the reality is, you will never become famous. No, because you can gain some more exposure that you had last month. You can gain some more exposure that you had last year. But you'll never have enough, and there's always going to be a bigger fish. So setting a goal to become famous, you're never gonna achieve it. And that's gonna bring you down, that's gonna put your hands down, because you won't achieve your goals and you won't see any progress in what you do. Even though there might be progress, and there probably will be progress, but you just don't see it because of the way you set up your goals. So a good way to set up your goal is to make it realistic, make it as precise as possible, and just basically, think about your goals, and think about the way you set them up. It could be a numeric goal, it could be a holistic goal, but it's a bit more difficult with holistic goals because, again, there's no way to measure them. So, what is an example of a good goal? An example of a good goal would be to get 100,000 plays on Spotify. That's a great goal, that's a measurable goal, and that's an achievable goal. Well, of course, obviously, if you feel that you can achieve it, and if you can see that it's possible to achieve that. It could be 10,000, it could be 1,000 plays, it doesn't matter. As long as you set a numeric goal, and as long as you really talk to yourself, what is it that you are trying to achieve, then you're good. Then you'll always have some motivation from the people that you're talking to, from the people that you see are starting to follow you and are starting to like your music, and from achieving the goals that you set to yourself. Because there's nothing better than hitting that check mark of the plans for the year that you've set for yourself. So Peter is saying it's called hedonic treadmill. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. Or we can also call it the creative person paradox. That's another way we call it. It's basically when you never have enough. When you reach a certain point, then you want to reach. Then you just need more. Then you reach the other point, and then you still need more. And then you get to a point where you still want more, but you physically can't get more. And that's where all the artists get into a very, very deep and serious crisis. So try to avoid that. And the best way to avoid that is by setting up some clear, achievable, and measurable goals. So, those are the main things that I wanted to go through today. And let me know, guys, if you have any questions or there's something else you want to know. I think we have some more time, and the live stream was actually pretty short, a bit shorter than I expected. So Raman Sharafudinov is saying thank you for the stream, wrote some useful ideas, gotta go, thank you very much, thank you for watching. And so guys, I'll be waiting for your questions, and meanwhile I think we can just talk a little bit about your own stuff. So I thought it might be interesting to do some project of promoting somebody as an artist from a complete scratch, basically. So from 0 followers to, for example, 1,000 followers. So if somebody's interested in that, maybe can you try hitting me up in DM and see if we can organize that? Because I would be really interested to try and appraise some artists other than myself, and I think it might help somebody, and it might help to it might actually be very useful and very helpful to other people as well, to see how an artist could be promoted from scratch on a real example. So maybe we can do something like that, and if somebody's interested, then just direct message me on Telegram. So I guess I will just quickly summarize everything we went through today, and then we can probably round up with this. So I mentioned 7 main points today. The first one is promote yourself as a person and not as an artist. So there should be a person behind your music, and there should be a personality behind your music. And try not to hide not to hide your face. Try to promote yourself with your face and with yourself as a person. Then second is we talked about the most prospective platforms, which are TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Bandlink for promoting your release. Then number 3 was diversifying your content. What that means is basically providing exclusive content on every platform. You don't need to duplicate the same thing on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and everything. You need to have your long, high-quality videos on YouTube. You need to have your personal life and daily routine on Instagram. You need to have short, fun videos on TikTok. and your technical stuff on Telegram, and your music obviously on SoundCloud or Spotify. Number 4, aesthetics. Make sure that your content looks nice and pleasing, that it's not a simple doll video or anything, that it's creative and it's related to you or your music. And try living an interesting life, and try encouraging yourself to do things, to go places, and just make your daily routine as interesting as possible so that you can document it and you can record it. There's no need to do something especially for Instagram. Just live your normal life and document your normal life. If it doesn't work out, if it's not interesting, then change your life. There's no need to do something especially for Instagram. Then number 5 is be interactive. No matter how many followers you have, no matter what your responses are, even if it's one person, try to get in touch with that person and try to really stay interactive with that person. And try to get them on your side. Number 6 is use the swinging strategy with your releases as key points. So make a release, get your fan base, try to maintain it as long as possible, do the other release, and increase the fan base. That's how it works. It's as easy as that. It's easier said than done, but it's achievable if you maintain the content. And number 7 is setting goals, which is probably the most important and the most essential topic. Set realistic goals. For example, if you're at 10 plays, there's no need to set a goal of 100,000 plays. Just increase it to 100, for example. And that's your goal. Even if it's a little goal, if it's a small little step for you, that's still a goal. And you will feel accomplished when you achieve it. And that's a nice thing about music, and that's a nice thing about all the creative things. Is being accomplished and feeling needed. Because when a musician feels like they're not needed, that's where everything starts breaking down. So set yourself some little goals and move towards your big goal or your big dream step by step. Yeah, so I think that's about it for today. And the music chat, the Telegram chat, seems to be working pretty well. So I would love to hear your feedback on the live stream, guys, and thank you very, very much for watching, and thank you very much for listening, whoever was listening on music production, and I hope to see you next time. I guess we're gonna round up here, and thank you all very, very much.